musical confusion. That's on me. So I'm really happy today to welcome Layli and Sergey Miron to come speak with us today. They're members of Auburn's Baha'i community. And that's an interesting thing.
What is that? Sorry, I don't know what that is.
Wait a second, this will shake out before we open up.
No, it's definitely feedback. That's what it is.
You got it?
I think so.
Come on up.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Hi. Let your vision be world embracing. And this is with these words by Bahá'u'lláh, who is the founder of the Bahá'í Faith. We can see that how Bahá'ís of the world are called to work day and night to help establish global unity and peace. Thank you so much for having us here today. And again, also thank you so much for sharing that story for children that actually is from the Bahá'í Faith. And the person who was Abdul Baha is the son of the founder of the Bahá'í Faith, Baha'u'lláh, and the Haji Amin was his secretary. So that was a very prominent personage in our history. So thank you so much for sharing it here, and we're very happy to talk a little bit more about Bahá'í Faith today. So, and this is a great opportunity for us. And my name is Sergey Miron, and I'm originally from Moldova, and I learned about the Bahá'í Faith about 20 years ago. And this is my wife, Layli, and who is a fifth generation Baha'i, and on both sides of her family. And her grandfather actually came to the United States from Iran. And Iran is a place, Iran, Persia, is a place where Bahá'í Faith was born. We met while serving at the Bahá'í World Center in Israel, and after that, I decided to accompany Layli back to the United States, where we are together here. So I would like to start with a song that is based on a prayer by Baha'u'lláh, and then we will start with our presentation. Blessed is the spot and the house and the place and the city and the heart and the mountain and the refuge and the cave and the valley and the land and the sea and the island and the meadow where mention of God has been made, and His praise glorified. So today we'll focus our presentation on the three main points. Who founded the Bahá'í Faith? Who were Ba and Baha'u'lláh? What did Baha'u'lláh teach? And what is the vision, what is Bahá'í Faith's vision for the world peace?
Good morning, everyone. Before I dive into telling you about the lives of the Bab and Bahá'u'lláh, I want to talk about the concept of progressive revelation, which is really a fundamental principle of Bahá'í teachings. And this principle says that as humanity has evolved and developed, God has sent us teachers who brought teachings suited to our stage of development for that era. Some of these teachers or manifestations of God are Krishna, Abraham, Moses, Buddha, Zoroaster, Jesus, and Muhammad. Followers of each faith, unfortunately, begin to believe that their teacher is the only one and their religion is the only true path to God, which inevitably leads to conflict. Baha'is, on the other hand, do not view each religion as separate and competing, but as part of an unfolding revelation that God is sending to us and will continue to send. It is humans' obligation to discover and follow the manifestation of God for their era. And now that brings us to the Bab. The Bab was born as Sayyid Ali Muhammad in Persia in 1819. The title the Bab means the gate or doorway in Arabic. He taught that a new revelation had arrived from God and that it abrogated the laws and traditions of previous revelations. He prepared his followers for another divine teacher. The government executed him in 1850. During his brief ministry, the Bab left his followers many writings, which we consider direct revelation from God. Here is a prayer he revealed. Is there any remover of difficulties save God? Say, praise be God. He is God. All are his servants, and all abide by his bidding. Baha'u'lláh was born Mirza Hussein Ali in Persia in 1817. Though he was born into a noble family, he was not interested in a life of earthly power, serving under Persia's rulers. Instead, he focused on serving the needy, and he became a follower of the Bab. After the Bab was executed, the Persian government imprisoned Baha'u'lláh. While chained in a dungeon, he had a vision telling him that he was the one the Bab had promised. The government banished Baha'u'lláh and his family and followers from place to place, to Baghdad in Iraq, to Istanbul and Edirne in Turkey, and finally to Akka in Palestine, what is today Israel. In spite of the authorities' desire to quash this new religion, Baha'u'lláh attracted followers wherever he went. They were inspired by his teachings. By the way, Baha'u'lláh means the glory of God, and Baha'i means follower of Baha'u'lláh. Baha'u'lláh left a clear line of succession to prevent the Baha'i faith from breaking apart. He was succeeded by his son, Abdu'l-Baha, and that title means servant of Baha. Abdu'l-Baha brought Baha'i teachings to Europe and the United States. In fact, he spoke at Unitarian and Universalist churches when he visited the West over 100 years ago. He was succeeded by his grandson, Shoki Effendi, who developed the administrative order that guides Baha'i communities all over the world. These communities are led by elected assemblies. Speaking of elections, in 1963, the Universal House of Justice was elected. This was an institution that had been ordained by Baha'u'lláh in his writings. It continues to guide the development of the Baha'i world today.
So what did Baha'u'lláh teach? What are the teachings of Baha'u'lláh? So the first the the most important guiding principles are three unities: unity of God, unity of religion, and unity of mankind. Baha'is believe that there is only one God and all the religions are coming from the same source. As Layli mentioned earlier, Baha'is believe in unity of religion, or that progressive revelation, that at different point in time, God will be sending different messengers for new generation of people that are different, and as we progress in building our civilization. And we believe in unity of mankind, unity of people, that we essentially have to become one, and no group is superior to the other. The vision of unity of mankind is very clearly defined by Baha'u'lláh in this quotation. The earth is but one country, and mankind its citizens. Next one is elimination of all forms of prejudice. It is related to the belief in a single human family. Baha'u'lláh taught that all forms of prejudice must be eliminated. Of a special concern for the Baha'is is racial prejudice. We are told to examine and work to eradicate our own inherited prejudices against other races and ethnicities. Diversity is a strength when it is channeled towards a common purpose. And in this quotation, we can see how that vision for the unity is portrayed and spoken about by Abdul Baha, the son of the founder of the faith. The world of humanity is like a garden, and the various races of the flowers which constitute its adornment and decoration. Equality of men and women is also a very important part of the Bahá'í Faith, and we believe that social progress is impossible when women are held back by prejudice and tradition from complete participation in society. Bahá'í used this metaphor of a bird to explain this principle. The world of humanity is possessed of two wings, the male and the female. So long as these two wings are not equivalent in strength, the bird will not fly. Until womankind reaches the same degree as man, humanity cannot wing its way to heights of real attainment. Independent investigation of truth is very important. Every human has the responsibility to seek the truth. Passively accepting traditions is inadequate at this time. Religion should not simply be inherited from one generation to another. It has to be understood by each one of us. In order to enable a man to investigate the truth, education is crucial, and it gives the person the required tools. Baha'u'lláh said in this quotation you see on the screen, regard man as a mine rich in the gems of inestimable value. Education can alone cause it to reveal its treasures and enable mankind to benefit therefrom. So without education, it's very hard to be able to develop our potential to its fullest. Next one is the harmony of science and religion. As scientific truth must be pursued alongside with spiritual truth. Many times religion gives rise to superstition, but Baha'is believe religion and science must go hand in hand. They need each other. Science needs the ethical guidance of religion, and religion needs the rigorous pursuit of knowledge of science. Science is an effulgence of sun of reality, the power of investigating and discovering the verities of the universe, the means by which man finds a pathway to God, says Abdul Baha. And as in every religion, Bahá'í Faith has some laws, and some of them include daily prayer, annual fasting, observance of holy days, no recreational drugs or alcohol, and some others. When someone becomes a Baha'i, they have not only accepted Baha'u'lláh as the manifestation of God for this day, but also they've chosen to follow the laws. And as provided, as described in the Baha'i most holy book, Kitab al-Das, which is the book of the law, where all the laws are written down by Baha'u'lláh. Baha'is believe that the laws are revealed for our own benefit, to help us progress in this world and prepare us for the journey in the spiritual realms.
I'd like to conclude our presentation by talking a little bit about the Baha'i vision for world peace. So why did Baha'u'lláh come when he did in the 19th century? Over the past few centuries, the world has become increasingly interconnected. Baha'is consider this to be the period of humanity's turbulent adolescence. Today, the law of international relations tends to be competition, with people viewing it as a zero-sum game. On the other hand, Baha'is believe that interdependence, cooperation, and consultation must be the ultimate law of successful international relations. Relatedly, we believe that wealth must be more evenly distributed, both within countries and worldwide. But we also think that global problems cannot be solved through material means alone. True cooperation emerges out of a spiritual understanding that our survival and our success depend on everyone advancing together. And this really begins on the interpersonal level and moves up through the layers to the international level. So I want to tell you a little bit about how Baha'is view human relationships. We see every human as inherently noble. Earlier we heard the passage from Baha'u'lláh, where he tells us to regard each human as a mine rich in gems of inestimable value. These gems need to be refined through the choices that we make in our lives. We believe that we're here on this planet to develop our virtues. Our individual purpose during our short lives is not to amass wealth and power, but to develop these spiritual capacities that will help us continue moving forward in the afterlife. And these capacities can really only be developed through our relationships with each other, through service in particular. And that could mean serving your family members, contributing your talents to society through your profession, or volunteering in your community. Abdu'l-Bahá said, thinking at all times of rendering some service to every member of the human race. Similar ideas animate the Baha'i concept of global relations. Baha'u'lláh taught that there must be an effective global system of governance that, among other functions, would ensure collective security. And I now want to read you a rather beautiful passage from Baha'u'lláh about this principle. Such a peace demanded that the great powers should resolve, for the sake of the tranquility of the peoples of the earth, to be fully reconciled among themselves. Should any king take up arms against another, all should unitedly arise and prevent him. If this be done, the nations of the world will no longer require any armaments, except for the purpose of preserving the security of their realms and of maintaining internal order within their territories.
So in closing, I'd like to share two more songs by Baha'u'lláh. And those are songs based on the writings and actually are based on the prayers by Baha'u'lláh. One of them is called Kindle the Fire of Love, and another one is Unite and Bind. Kindle the fire together their hearts. Join in the chord of these souls. Join in the chord of these souls. Oh Lord, may these faces radiant through the light of the oneness. Unite and bind together. Thank you so much. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any questions, we have our email is on the screen, and we're going to stay here for the coffee afterwards. Please feel free to approach us. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you both so much for coming and sharing your beautiful faith with us, and I especially appreciate the resonances with Unitarian Universalist. I can hear the echoes of the inherent dignity and worth and nobility of all people, the interdependence, the goal of world peace and community, free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and while also appreciating the unique flavors and history that you bring to it as well. So thank you for coming. The choir will now sing our closing hymn, Our Faith is But a Single Gem. Please join me in extinguishing our chalice. You'll find the words in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please be our guest today after the service for our coffee hour outside near the Bush Center. This is an opportunity to check in with folks about the service and how their week has gone. If you're not signed up for our email list, please make sure you do so to receive updates about ways to connect. You can find information on signing up at our website, aubuf.org/donate, or /subscribe, autopilot there a little bit. If you have an announcement, please feel free to come forward one at a time. We'd like to ask you to keep your announcements brief. Okay, hearing none, please join us now for our Son benediction. I send you out by Reverend Kelly Wiseman Asprey Jackson. I send you out now to share yourself with the world. May its promise and complexity set your mind ablaze. May you hold fast to what your life has taught you. May you question everything. And when you have changed the world, and the world has changed you, may you return again to this place and share what you have learned with us.